Ourselves, we are the mob. M to the O B. Memphis Over Bull live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. You know how we do it. And if we build it, they shall come. And when I say it, I don't mean in the physical form, anything like that. I mean it. When I say it, I mean ourselves. That is the key to rebuilding our city, rebuilding our community, rebuilding ourselves. Ourselves, we make up the community, right? So the focus should be us. Chat Mob, holler at me. You just coming in. Got a great show. First kickoff of the year. Make sure y'all can hear me good. My levels right. M to the O B Anon. Y'all holler at my boy Anon, DJ Anonymous, man. Y'all need any booking, any DJ events or whatnot. Got you. Got a few guys. Got a few DJs on the squad. Anyway, great show. Man, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. I got the first guest of the year, Mr. Dave Jones, aka Memphis Dave. Very knowledgeable young man, very insightful man. Been a great journey for our city. You know, we have a few firemen that come in and watch the show. You all would love the things he has to say. We'll get more into his background. But first of all, before we get into it, before we get the guests, we'll bring him in at 5:30, the halfway mark. I want to talk about this news clip, right? They showed there was a UPS truck that came in and they showed the entire surveillance footage of the truck being stolen, of the truck being burglarized. And I just didn't understand the reasoning behind it. Can someone tell me the purpose of this clip? All right. I want to get to that. Make sure if you're coming in, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button. Let me put the reminder up on y'all for y'all before we get into things. Make sure you hit the like and hit the share because we're trying to share. Because we're trying to rebuild our community. And we built this platform for this reason, right? Anyway, I'm going to show you all the reason behind the clip because it's an allegory of the cave by Plato. And it's all behind the images that we see and the things that come into our mind. Anyway, get to this clip. I want you all to see this. UPS truck. It just came on the news today. Now they no editing, no talking, no nothing, right? UPS trucks comes pulls into the, in the parking lot. Okay. Make sure you all coming in, hit the like and subscribe. Be evaluating this video that was shown to the community and our people for a reason, right? To inform you of your surroundings. Some of you may think. We'll get to it. Give it a minute. But I want to see, there are two things in this video: the things that they want you to see, and the things that I want to know how you think for yourself. Because the things that I always talk about and I always preach about on that show is uh, the good people being lost. All right, so he loaded up his two-wheeler, right? I'm talking about seconds. truck pulled behind you. All right. Not even minutes after. All right. So now, for those who want me to share the ignorance, this is the closest you'll ever get to me displaying ignorance on the mob. But we have to use this as an example because it's already been shared. All right. So, right. Everybody come in, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Okay. Okay. All right. So you got 4 people on the truck, right? Got him, right? They hit the UPS truck up, right? Now, peep this. You see this? Y'all see that? That in the upper right corner. There's a woman right there with a hoodie on a jacket, right? I want you to see that because that's gonna get lost. Now the UPS worker just comes back to the brown truck. The woman walks over. The woman had her phone out. In case you all, I didn't know. Okay. Okay. So there. All right. So first off, right. First question would be, what was the purpose of sharing that clip in the first place? If you're the news, if you're the local news, why is that informing you of anything? Are you a UPS truck owner? Why would you share that? To create fear, right? To create fear. That's not to inform you of what's going on out here. Now, what gets lost in that is there was a woman, right? I don't know how old she was, but she was an adult lady. She had her phone out. She recorded that going on and went over to the truck driver, who was a young brother at work. See, you miss all of that. You don't care about that. Now, if I showed you people his age or people that look like him hanging out on the corner, you know, look at these. Look at this. He should get a job. But when they show you one, the only time you're gonna see one at a job is when one is being robbed. So you can focus on the negative, right? Right? You see, we also have to focus on us not having a community, right? So the woman goes over. Many people feel like there's a no snitch clause, and many people in our community don't care. Show the woman that she cared, right? But here's the thing: would you advise her to do that if that's your mother, your wife, your sister, or whatnot? Would you advise her to do that when he was leaving, pulling out the parking lot? Would you advise her to pull her phone out and record the tag, right? Because we say that's what we want. And like I said, right, this is all, it creates the environment around you. You can't feel comfortable. It's like putting a fish in a fish bowl. Right. Controlled environment. But it's just something I wanted to share. When I saw that on the news, I was just like, what's the purpose of this? Besides all the reporting, all of the violence and all the thieving and all of the imagery, right? It affects us all. So I just maybe it was just me. Maybe I'm the only one that could see the goodness in it and see the purpose of it. But I know it serves no good to our community. That's all I'm thinking. All right, that's just something to start to kick the show off. I thought that was great. But yeah, if we build it, they shall come. And I mean the mob in itself. We build a mob, but we build ourselves up as individuals at the mob because we got some. I don't need everybody, but I got heavy hitters on the team, right? I just need the active members. And we talked about this. I was speaking on the phone earlier. And how can you be an activist without being active? We have so many thinkers, but we have very little do. in the city. Everyone has a plan. Everyone has a meaning. Everyone has a talk. But we need people that are taking action, activity, activists. Are you active? Are you active? What are you doing in the city? I mean, everyone who watches the mob, everyone that comes through, everyone who clicks on, what are you doing? Because, like I said, we have some elite people, and don't think that I want everybody and I need everybody watching the mob. I just need the ones who are active, and then we'll build it. And they shall come, those who seek the knowledge, those who seek better. All right? Paul Young. Paul Young got inaugurated. He has just started his tenure as mayor of Memphis, right? So we're gonna talk about that. But I'm gonna tell you this. See, everybody. The thing about this show is, there's a certain kind of individual that I want that we represent for, right? And there are many people that paved the way for us in Memphis. I have to teach you all a little something about civil rights member, worked for the city had the longest tenure as a worker for the city of Memphis, and he marched with King. Yeah, check this out. These are the men who I highlight, and a man that I bring on the show reminds me of a man like this fella too, who will be interviewing, who will be talking to very shortly here. Let's get to it. Check this out, y'all.
The city of Memphis is mourning the loss of civil rights icon Elmore Nickelberry. According to family, Nickelberry died today at 92 years old. Nickelberry is known in Memphis for fighting for better wages and working conditions for sanitation workers, even protesting alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. WRG's Ashley Paul joins us now live with more on the legacy he leaves behind. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Shay. Well, 65 years after sanitation workers went on strike here in Memphis, they were honored with this statue here reading, "I am a man." And while it took some time for that change to come, it finally did. And tonight we're honoring one of the men who helped make it happen.
I've been here 64 years, and I'm still working.
Tonight, Memphis remembers the life and legacy of Elmore Nickelberry, the Korean War veteran turned civil rights hero who changed the lives of sanitation workers in Memphis forever.
At first, we had to tow tubs on our head, go in people's backyard, and stuff went all down my head, all down my back, and I couldn't go home. I had to pull off my clothes before I go in the house, because of all the maggots be in my clothes.
It was for reasons like this that Nickelberry walked alongside Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in 1968 after a strike to fight for better working conditions and livable wages.
You know, by staying and working, he really did change Memphis. When the sanitation workers formed the union and things began to come together at that particular point, you saw positive change.
Memphis pastor and former
Elmore Nickelberry. Got to give him his role. Well, give him his props, man. Can't acknowledge him enough. Stayed in the city, made sure a lot of things that went on. The King tried to get approved, kept going, but he had to stay and make sure that these things happen. You know, like many things get signed up. Somebody has to stay behind to make sure things happen. We get lost with all these celebrities and all these people that we think that we need, but man, these are the real community members, the real people. I like this great man, Elmore Nickelberry.
Former president of the Memphis NAACP, Dr. Keith Norman, had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Nickelberry personally. He says Mr. Nickelberry's persistence and dedication as the longest tenured employee of the city changed Memphis as we know it.
While it did not solve the problem, many years later they were still working under some very poor conditions. He was persistent enough to stay on the battlefield.
Following that 1968 march, Mayor Henry Loeb was forced to recognize the American Federation of State, County, Municipal Employees, which represented the sanitation workers. The sanitation workers finally received a much-needed pay raise, and eventually they got improved conditions. Fast forward to 2017. The Strickland administration provided a $70,000 grant to 14 remaining sanitation workers who participated in the 1968 strike to try to make up for what happened. These are changes that were unimaginable 6 decades ago. Changes.
It goes back to another point I always make about being in the now and knowing what's going on in our community with our people, right? because everything's always a recovery process in America when it comes to melanated people. There'll always be 20 years down the line, they'll try to recover and pay for it. And the damage is done, which you can never really fix. Why is it always a backtrack? We did this 50 years ago. Fast forward to today, we did it 50 more years ago. It all comes back until we realize that currently a bunch of BS going on, right? We have to know that in the moment. Can't really expect anybody to fix it because they'll always fix it down the line going back. Just something I always point out in everything that we watch on the show.
That are in large part thanks to Nickelberry and his determination for change.
There are many forms of protest and there's many forms of philanthropy to support these types of causes. Mr. Nickelberry did it with his life, and I'm thankful to him for it.
Now, in a statement released today by Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland, he says in part, quote, "May his legacy inspire future generations to continue the important work of advocating for the rights and dignity of workers everywhere." Now, according to family, Nickelberry's cancer came back and he was admitted to the hospital just about a month ago with fluid on his lungs. He then went into hospice care. He was 92 years old. For now, reporting live downtown, I'm Ashley Paul, WREG News, Channel 3.
Right, we got to make sure that, seeing that moment in 1968, he lived a very long life after that. And you got to make sure we're on the right side of history because right now, Memphis is in a historical point right now in time. I mean, what are you going to do? Many people are going to know what was happening now. It's a redevelopment process right now with Memphis. Are you going to be on the right side of things? Because there'll be photos. Somebody's going to be credited to fixing it, right? And somebody's going to be credited to doing nothing. Oh, I can't say credited to doing nothing. Somebody won't receive any credit for doing nothing. And many of your kids and many generations will know that you were of age during this time. And it may get asked, what were you doing? See, my question today is, who's going to replace Elmore Nickelberry? Right? That's what I'm saying. See, many things we always sell this boss idea. Everybody got to be a boss. CEO, hey, man, you're an entrepreneur, man. You don't own your business. You're a boy, man. You work for them folks. This man worked for the city and did a lot of great things for people. Well, you can't lose their respect for those who came before us, man. Great man. Carrying trash on top of his head, paving the way for us. But, you know, get lost in the sauce. We got to remember, though, we have to acknowledge those who came before us. All right. Everybody's favorite new mayor. Moving on, get on before we get to the interview. Everyone's favorite new mayor, Paul Young, was sworn in. Like I said, he had a few things to say. He did an event where he was interacting with the youth at the University of Memphis. And he had a good, so far, so good with my guy, Paul Young. He's really of the people. Anyway, let's get to it. He has an inauguration and acceptance. He had a few things to say. It's on the right that we've been covering him. Everybody coming in, make sure you hit the like button. Get to it.
You mentioned Paul Young, a changing of the guard in Memphis. The city officially has a new mayor. Paul Young sworn into office this morning, saying he is on a mission to save the city. Mayor Young has a tall task in front of him, but as WRG's April Thompson reports, the new mayor says he is committed to creating a brighter future for Memphis.
On the first day of the new year, Paul Young raised his hand to take the oath and forge Memphis into its future.
So help me God.
So help me God.
The new mayor acknowledging the big job ahead for a city in pain.
Families are mourning the pain of loss of loved ones from senseless violence. The chaos has taken a toll on our collective psyche, and it threatens to derail all of the progress and promise of what Memphis can be. Crime has been the topic at every breakfast table.
But the new mayor is also bringing a promise, saying with the help of everyone, they can turn the tide.
We can make America's largest minority city. Let me say it more clearly. The largest black city per capita We can make that America's safest city. We can make that America's cleanest city.
Paul Young and the new and for the first time majority women city council say they are ready to turn the page.
A new council, a new mayor, a new opportunity for us to put down those things that divide us and take up all that is in the interest of our common good.
A crowd coming out to encourage the new mayor.
And as long as his steps are ordered by the Lord, he will take this town by storm and do all the work and the will of God in order for this city to flourish.
I just hope that he does a great job and turns the city around.
In his first 100 days, Young plans meetings with the community.
We have weekly, bi-weekly meetings with MPD, juvenile court, the district attorney's office, federal district prosecutors. I'll activate a special public safety task force. I'm invigorated by the hope that we're seeing. We have not been defeated by our current circumstances, and the game is far from over.
It's just the beginning for a new mayor who says he is ready to take his city in a new direction. April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
Mayor Young rounds out his inaugural with a gala tonight at 7 o'clock at the Renaissance Convention Center downtown.
I can definitely dig it. Paul Young has my full support. Full support of the mob. Memphis Over Bull should be coming through sooner or later. Y'all be on the lookout for that coming soon. All right. I wanted to share something before I got one more clip before we get to our interview process of the day. We get to talking to Mr. Dave Jones, a.k.a. Memphis Dave. It's called Allegory of the Cave, right? And it's about our thinking process. And everything because it seems like some of the things I say may be kind of new. It's new to Memphis. It's new to some of our people, but they're not new to the world. Like I said, they want to hide something, put it in the book. And this was created by Plato in 400 BC. It's talked about the controlled thinking, right? And how they control everyone, control the masses, control. This was before television, before radio, before computers, before all forms of media. But they had writing. And at this time, writings, it was guided the people and taught them everything, right? Besides the kings and the rulers or whatnot. But, yeah, Plato had this. Now, to imagine if someone with this thinking 2,500 years ago, the things that we don't know today and we're still allowing ourselves to be controlled. Let me get to this clip. This is Allegory of the Cave. I played it. Check this out.
What is...
By the way, this pertains to Memphis and our thinking and our mindset. Check this out.
What is reality? Knowledge? The meaning of life? Big topics you might tackle figuratively, explaining existence as a journey down a road or across an ocean, a climb, a war, a book, a thread, a game, a window of opportunity, or an all too short-lived flicker of flame. 2,400 years ago, one of history's most famous thinkers said life is like being chained up in a cave, forced to watch shadows flitting across a stone wall. Pretty cheery, right? That's actually what Plato suggested in his Allegory of the Cave, found in Book 7 of the Republic, in which the Greek philosopher envisioned the ideal society by examining concepts like justice, truth, and beauty. In the allegory, a group of prisoners have been confined in a cavern since birth with no knowledge of the outside world. They are chained facing a wall, unable to turn their heads, while a fire behind them gives off a faint light, occasionally.
So, 3 chained prisoners in a cave, right? They're facing a wall. Now behind them, people can walk and they carry images, right? They've never seen the actual images. They've never seen the people. They've only seen the shadow on the cave's wall, right? So this is all they know for life. They've been chained their entire life, right? So this is what they know. This is their existence. This is what their understanding is, right? So just wanted to update you on that. This is all they know.
By the fire, carrying figures of animals and other objects that cast shadows on the wall. The prisoners name and classify these illusions, believing they're perceiving actual entities. Suddenly, one prisoner is freed and brought outside for the first time. The sunlight hurts his eyes, and he finds the new environment disorienting. When told that the things around him are real, while the shadows were mere reflections, he cannot believe it. The shadows appeared much clearer to him, but gradually his eyes adjust until he can look at reflections in the water, at objects directly.
All right, so the shadows were the realest things that he had ever seen. He was in the dark so long, shadows were all his eyes could see. He couldn't even adjust to the light. The light, when it first comes, which is the truth, the light, the truth, all the things, the same thing. He was blinded by the truth and the light. And he had to adjust to it. He had to learn to grow to understand the light, the truth, right? Keep this in mind. Very deep.
Directly. And finally, at the sun, whose light is the ultimate source of everything he has seen. The prisoner returns to the cave to share his discovery, but he is no longer used to the darkness and has a hard time seeing the shadows on the wall. The other prisoners think the journey has made him stupid and blind and violently resist any attempts to free them. Plato.
So he found the truth, which is the light. Back to the cave with the other slaves and tried to tell them of the things that he had seen and how blinded they are. And they returned that with violence. Their response was violence towards him, even though he had already been in their position and he had seen the truth and the light. It's just to tell you that they understand.
Introduces this passage as an analogy of what it's like to be a philosopher trying to educate the public. Most people are not just comfortable in their ignorance, but hostile to anyone who points it out. In fact, the real
Just thought that was a great point. That was 2,400 years ago. And to try to wake people. So with their understanding, right? If we build it, they shall come. But we can't bring the building to them. They have to come. You can't, in that story, allegory of the cave, he tried to wake the others up, right? They were blinded. They were mad about him telling them that the images that they saw were shadows. They blamed him. I'm just telling you that there's shadows that we're seeing, right? Don't blame me, but it comes with it when you're trying to show someone the light who's been in the dark for so long. And that's what's going on with our people. You don't understand the images that you're seeing by the shadows. When I tell you that this is being projected to you for a reason, it's being controlled, you look at me, I'm probably mad response. I get the response of violence or, the arguments and or whatnot, hey, no one's controlling you all, nothing's doing this. I mean, that's my issue. Because you're trying to bring someone from the darkness into the light. And it takes a minute for their eyes to be adjusted. Right? All right, let's try to bring in our next guest. Well, our only guest, Mr. Dave. So I want to introduce him as, first of all, we got to say this. Works as over 28 and a half years as a fireman. We became a lieutenant on the fire department, and he served in the community. That worked for WMC Action News 5 for over 10 years. Worked close to Memphis City Schools. He was also an exceptional athlete inside Memphis City Schools. Great man, has a lot to give us. We came across each other in a journey on our journey and our path to trying to rebuild this city. Mr. Dave Jones, let me try to bring him in right now. This is my first time using this interview. Let's bring him in. Mr. Dave Jones, aka Memphis Dave. Can you hear me? Okay. I see. I got you. My bad. Okay. I got you, Dave. Hold on. Wait a minute. There we go.
Yeah, man.
Memphis Dave.
Hey, how you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing that? There we go. That's the man.
All right, we in the house. How you doing tonight?
I'm great. And yeah, I got some good quality uh visual right there of you, brother.
Oh yeah, thank you for that. Well,
I,
let me say my condolences to the Nickelberry family, and I want to definitely pay homage to Mr. Nickelberry. He did such a lot for this city. You know, just picking up trash ain't what we want to talk about. Being a man in the time period coming out of the '60s, staying with your family, staying in the neighborhood, and doing an honorable service. You know, being a what they call a trash collector, but actually you working hard for an honest day's wage. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere in between then and now, certain efforts to make a living for your family is being taken out of context. So to the Nickelberry family, my condolences. May God be with you and keep you.
very much so. Right. I said, and I want to acknowledge him because I want to acknowledge men like yourself and yourself. You know, you put me in that mindset of those who are helping our community that we need to acknowledge more. We need more. You're doing it, but it's my job to make sure that you all get the acknowledgement. And I know you're in the media. You have your own platform, things that you're doing too. So, but I want to, create that because we can't have enough of that. I don't want to say I'm the only one doing it, but I know we need more of it.
Well, let's be clear. I was very privileged to be born in 1964 when a very beautiful people of color were segregated. And no, we didn't have much, but in not having much, we bonded. We were less independent. We were more dependent on each other's welfare. And whatever I had, you had. If you had sugar, I had sugar. And again, with these systems and devices and things that the media, as well as AI and some of these technical programming devices, such as the phone and television, they've managed to disconnect us. And in doing so, what we see today is the direct reflection of those devices and us not continue to understand together we stand, divided we fall. And ain't no in between that. Only thing in between that is just probably genocide for
Right,
people. So,
right, right. So I want to 28 and a half years, fire department, made it to lieutenant, very accomplished. Do you want to touch on that? What are some of the things that you saw that
well,
as in your tenure that could probably help us or help us relate to what's going on right now? A lot has changed over that time period, right?
yes, the cliche, the more things change, the more they stay the same is probably where I'm at. I actually came on in '94, and I was of age. I was 29, so I was grown. I wasn't like some of the younger men coming on. And I had a father. He didn't play. If he said do something once, he didn't have to ask me. He was going to take care of business. But the department, as it is now, is not the guys. When I came on to supervise the lieutenant, which were actually the people who molded us, but I was a man. I respected another man, and so
Mm-hmm.
actually, but they trained us in such a way that once you was trained, you were going to be able to do exactly what they could do or better. Unfortunately, because of certain things that are in our society, I'm not gonna get too technical, but gender is one, and
Mm-hmm.
that ERA amendment, and you putting certain people in places, you can put a body in the place of another body, but are we trying to build something that's going to, stand the test of time? That's my question. That's me. I don't think so. I left the department. I had enough of certain things I saw and my ability. I decided to take elsewhere, but it was a great job for me. The advancement program was good. What I didn't like was we just started to social promote people.
Mm-hmm.
And when that happens, you're going to weaken the links on your chain, and it
Mhm.
won't hold over time. Yeah, it'll look good, it may shine, but it just won't stand because it just doesn't have the foundation that it's going to need to stand. And
Right.
so I witnessed some things. I love serving Memphis, one of the best communities in the world. To me, if you ask me, what's the best city in America? It's Memphis, baby.
Right.
I'm up 10 toes up, 10 toes down. Everybody,
Nobody like us. Very unique. Right.
nobody like. I don't want to hear about no LA. I don't want to hear about no New
That,
York. I don't know nothing. If it ain't Memphis, it ain't. And so I rep
right.
my. I want to say too to our newly elected mayor, Mr. Young.
Mhm.
Mayor, wish you well. I hope and pray that everyone understands that this is something new for you, and to back you and give you support. All the people that don't really understand what it takes to be the driver or the head, hey man, it's tough when the bullseye's on your back. Let's stop just taking shots at people, and let's try to do something for each other. This our city. This our city. This ain't his city. This our city, and
Right.
it can as great as his people. He's
Mhm.
on individual, and we are the people. And again, like I said, divided we fall. So let's stand for something, so we don't have to fall for anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So,
Well said. Well said. That's what I always promote here too. I've been try to do nothing but be positive towards your brother. Like we said, it's a lot at stake. He already has enough against him as is. He don't need us against him too, right?
yeah,
He's only as good as the people that he's the mayor of, right?
correct.
Uh, I wanted to ask you about this. So something I always talk about. Like we talked briefly before, but the news, the news. You worked at Action 5, right, for over a decade, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
Okay.
so I wanted to say the goal of some of the things, the images that we see on the news. Someone that worked inside of it. What is it? What do you say is the gas, so to speak, behind it? What's fueling this? What is?
Well, everything, and I kind of like the get with your president, but the business of America is business,
Mm-hmm.
and news is business. It can't run without a source. So advertisement kicks in then, and
Mm-hmm.
so in order to have a news station that's going to be viable, you got to bring some income in because you got to have employees and things of that nature. As far as reporting, I will say that I think when you come in the beginning, you're sincere, just like anything else. You just love it and you have a passion for it, which means to suffer for something that you love. Over time, I think you see so much, I guess, ill or malice till it becomes normal. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but just as much as we think about this, what if we all of the beauty, 5% of all the good? Then that would promote what you see, which is the same programming,
Mm-hmm.
5% more development in the minds or in the actions of the people that watch it. So I grew up when there was no and I kind of watched the shows Ghost and all these shows where everybody's a hustler
Right.
and
Right.
I grew up with Leave It to Beaver and stuff like that and Andy Griffin. So we never saw another individual murder another individual. So it wasn't planned.
Mm-hmm.
I remember specifically when not in the 80s, because I come out of Metro High School in the 80s, one of the best school systems. The Memphis school system works. I can read, I can write, I can count, but I also added to that with some other folks adding to my learning abilities. So, but ultimately, um, when I saw New Jack City, I mean, you're going to the movies, or so you
Right.
think. You're going to the movies to see a movie. You see this movie, and you like the music, you like the fly cars, the fly gear, and all of a sudden you forget this is a movie. But not long ago, right after that movie, I saw something change in Memphis and every major city in America. Crack.
Yeah.
And it destroyed. It
Yeah.
didn't do anything. It destroyed.
It
And
did.
so we have to look at how these things come about, and until you can go to the source and begin to fix that. And I don't think that you can just go to the end of a problem and say, okay, well, let's fix it. No, it's going to continue to surface. So but news is doing the best that it can from its perspective, but it's up to us, the people who watch the news, to say, if that's all you're going to show, I'm not going to watch it. Turn the TV off. Click. Now, if this is the only kind of music you're going to play, turn the music off. Click. I'm not going to listen to the advertisement. I'm not going to buy the product. Where our power, if we have any power, and we do, because we spend over $7 trillion with everybody else, but we don't spend it with us. That $7 trillion is our money. And until we take whatever resources we have and build our own, and I don't know if that even is possible we got about 30 years, and that's it, I believe. This is just my opinion. If we don't, like you said, build it, and then build several generations to understand why we building it, even if we built it, it won't last.
Right.
So,
and see, that transitions to the other topic we were talking about. You made a great point that I almost want to, if we're going to steal something, we need to steal this type of information that you give, right?
Yeah.
And when you talked about the 5 generations, like I'm just going to be quiet and let you talk about this, because whoever's hearing this, they need to hear this and understand what you're saying, and why we're in the position that we're in and how we fix it, because we do solutions here too, Dave. So I want you to just go. I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk, because this is your point.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do this the best I can. So this didn't just start now. That the guy by the name of Marcus Garvey that was trying to do something, and this is before the '60s.
Great man.
A lot of you all weren't even thought about. And I'm gonna say it jokingly, and your mothers and fathers hadn't even looked at each other, blowing each eye into each other's eyes, and said, "Ooh, I sure like you." They hadn't even done it. That didn't happen. That's the beauty of this. Think about what I just said. You mean to tell me Marcus Garvey was talking about something in the '60s and '50s, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, the Kennedys, and whoever else, and you come along, whatever year you born, and you talking about the same thing, but you don't realize you got a son coming or a daughter coming that's going to be trying to do something too. So it's not getting ready to stop. It's evolving. And if we figure this out, it's not about you. It's the future. Always have been, always will be. There's some scripture that said, be ye as wise as a serpent. People don't realize a serpent is a snake, but the serpent ain't stupid now. But ye shall know them by their fruit. And the fruit is the children. And they'll know your children by what you do and what they assume the fruit is, like his father or like his mother. But they were talking about building communities for people of color, but we had those things because of segregation coming off of some plantation, being enslaved. We had those because nobody wanted to be around us. We had our own stores, our own gas station, our own lawyers, our own doctors, and we still got our own lawyers and doctors.
We do.
We don't live where another child in Whitehaven, which is now called Blackhaven. I don't know how that helps anything. And then you got, New Chicago, you got Mitchell Sub, you got Binghamton, you got Orange Mound, you got all these subdivisions where all those beautiful people were raised and born, and the community fed us. Well, we have to go back. Now, what does that mean? And I myself am a hypocrite. So don't think I ain't blaming myself. But when we left all of that hard work that those people put in us, and that education that we learned from those beautiful teachers, we took it away, and the kids that were coming after us didn't or don't get to see it. And to aspire, which is the word, to aspire to become what they see in us. We see it in them, but sometimes we just are people that need to see it and then touch it. Like a 2-year-old. 2-year-old is not somebody can go and tell you what they want. It's going to touch it. And in touching it, sometimes you get burned. But watch this. If you're around somebody that understand how the process of growing happens, what if you're around somebody that know, if I let you touch Lego blocks, I let you touch clay, I let you touch a lot of things, your hands is giving you probably more information than your eyes could at the age of 2. And so by touching and feeling, you're subject to be an artist with your hands. And then you compute some things. And so I have quite a few grandkids, and I tend to like to let them do a lot of things that You know, during my time, they say you don't do that. But because I grew and I thought, why didn't they let me do that? Because they were looking out for me, one, but the other thing is they had some fear.
Mm-hmm.
But you only can fear that you don't understand or know.
Unknown. We fear the unknown.
And so we got to get to knowing some things and stop
That's
doing
it. Right.
believe.
That's it.
Because ain't no believing gonna do. Believe can't save all this stuff we got. It just ain't gonna happen. And I try not to hurt nobody's feelings, but I don't have
Right.
a back. So if you have to turn me off, turn me off.
Right. Right. That's definitely it. That's definitely. So you're saying that it's gonna take that and that foundation and going on generations and generations and generations of that in order to just get us at a good standstill, good point of like how it used to be when we had actual community, right?
And that may be something we might want to take out of our vocabulary.
What's that?
How it used to be, because
Right.
you don't know how it used to be. Not to take a shot at you, but
No,
you
that's
and for me to even tell you how it used to be, I don't even know if that would be something you would want.
right.
And
Mm-hmm.
so I talked to Maxine Smith before she passed. We had a great conversation, and I love to talk to a lot of these historians
Mm-hmm.
and to hear their stories, because see, they telling you what they experienced as young people, and then you tell them what you experienced. Then we try to make this thing gel and add up to make it work for the next generation. But what she would say, she said they didn't have books and they wanted new books, and the school system would give them new books. But looking back now at this stage, 2024 to be specific, I always heard this cliche, and I wasn't too sharp in school, never really applied myself. I started applying myself after college, after I stopped bouncing this freaking ball. That ball got me to college, but that ball didn't give me this knowledge I have now. I had to take those 6 hours I was doing this and get rid of it to put the 6 hours into knowledge of reading. You get what I'm saying? So it flipped on me, and it really did me good for my grandkids and my family. But ultimately, what she was trying to say is, we want what they have when we were already 2 and 3 times smarter. We had our own vegetables. We knew how to create and dig earth and grow and feed ourselves. We were unit. We had young ladies that knew their roles. We had young men that knew their roles. And now we don't have any of those things, or very little of those things. And so we're trying to get back to something that we don't understand. But what is being said is, a people that don't know their history is doomed to repeat it.
Is that? Yeah.
That's happening. And for most folk, my dad, we still have our land up in Oakland. And most of us don't really want to work no land. We think we want to work some land, but working the land, taking a hole and digging that grass out the ground that's growing around your food is work your back
Well,
home.
I wanted to just say this though, Dave. Like it's going back to that. Hey, it's going. But here's the thing, though, right? With us knowing the things we seeing how the food is today, and we seeing how the society is today. That's something I want to bring on here because it's something I got to learn myself. Farm and survival things because we got to know. Like I got to make myself be the best example. I think about a community that's made of individuals. So exactly what I want my people to be, I have to become. And I
Correct.
think that I can't really expect everybody to be farming and be in better shape and read more books and be more better educated if I can't do it. So what you are, what you know, now attract this, and I think that's what we have to do. And then over time, that'll build a community. Now we got individuals that are ready. We don't need, like you said, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link, right?
Correct.
So I think we need to make the link stronger. Because I saw that when King passed, it was said that Memphis changed, and everyone was waiting on him to come, and he felt lost. So we can't have that same process. We need a bunch of kings. We need a team of kings to come better. Like you said, we're talking about how it used to be. Now it needs to be better. Now we know better.
I mentioned King and King being killed or assassinated, or I like to say, y'all didn't do nothing but make him bigger by making him immortal. You can't kill a person. That's something that you may not hear, but let me explain this. Yes, you can destroy the matter, the thing, the body. That's not you. This is just the vehicle that allows you to express. You can't kill nobody. And once we realize that, you stop trying to kill your brother or hurt your sister, because you realize you really want to be like them. There's only two reasons you want to hurt somebody. You envy them or you want to be like them. And really all we have to do is just say, hey, can you show me how? But we have a problem communicating because we don't like what we see in the mirror. There's a couple of people gone, one being Michael Jackson, another being, I like symbols like A, B, and C, Prince, the symbol. And that's why Prince the symbol. But what they was trying to do, and what they did, not trying, they were leaving some information. So in their absence, however they go, because they went supposedly this foolishness, but I'm knowing neither one of these people ever had these kind of problems prior to happen. But they left messages, and Michael Jackson left probably one of the most profound ones that impacts me is start with the man in the mirror, ask him to change his ways. And if you want to make a change, which is what you said, just look at yourself and make the change. Stop asking all these folks that ain't got nothing to do with nothing to help you become better or become what you really are anyway. See, that's the question. What are you? Not who are you? My name Dave Jones. No, I don't want to hear that no more. What you figure out you something. Wow. Now you gotta say, well, what am I? Please don't get to what that book say, born in the image of. And look, don't go back and forth with these folks. Those I ain't gonna be going back and forth with these Nick. Don't go back and forth with these folks. Let them be what they want to be, and you be what you want to be.
See, I think that's the whole thing, because I know with me, I'm still asleep on a lot of things too. I'm a work in progress. But I know with me waking up how it makes me feel as a melanated man.
Okay.
And I see the youth and I see some of the things that they're doing, they're younger than me, they don't have that feeling. They felt what I felt by me knowing my history. And what I do know, even the little that I know, and the little I got more that I need to know than I do know. But I know enough that makes me feel empowered. And I know what my purpose is just by knowing it. Like now, this is the thing about, like you said, I won't repeat some of the things that they went through because I know. And I just think we got to figure out how to empower. Like I said, I do know how to do. I empower myself and then empower others because we control everything around us. Just believe it. So it all starts with the.
I'm messing with my
You
phone,
cool.
so if I'm kind of distracted, but just trying to about this little thing. I don't know about this stuff. I'm doing the best I can.
Right, yeah, that's all good.
And
I
I got
appreciate you. Yeah, man, you've been giving some great insight. And before we go though, before it not gets too late, I want you talked about Claude Anderson too, right? We want to mention.
very interesting man.
Right.
I don't know, but Q was talking about it, and not just Q. A lot of folks. What Dr. Claude Anderson is talking about is the same thing Marcus Garvey was talking about. Is the same thing that Elijah Muhammad was talking about, and many others. And what you're going to be talking about is the same conversation. Now, is what they're saying is we must create our own. If you go to New York and other places, they got Little Italy. They got Little Mexico. They got Little Africa. What do we have? And my question is, who are we? That's another thing. Who are we? Because we changed our so-called definition. We were some people said we were Negroes. Then they said we were colored. Then we were Black, African American. And probably in the next few minutes they're gonna do some more foolishness. And
right.
So none of that will matter if we don't have an economic base. That's what Claude Anderson is saying. If you don't have an economic base, it won't make no difference what your thoughts are, because you can't feed yourself. They can fire you. You can't be responsible for whatever you created on this planet, and they can control you. So control you to do whatever they want. And unfortunately, we will have to do that together, and it gets back to together we stand.
Right. Power's always in people.
You started.
I was saying one of the things that I feel like I'm always, you talk about everybody what they doing. I always talk about what I'm doing, and it's not selfish thinking, but I'm saying this to the point of one of the things I want to take back was control of our image. I think one of the ways of doing it is by this platform. And I mean, you're a very accomplished man. out of our city. And they should talk. I mean, we should hear you being spoken to more often, but they don't focus on that. Why wouldn't they put you on these platforms and let you talk? You can't expect that. I just do it myself and bring brothers like you. They have a lot to say and a lot to do and a lot to speak on in our community. They can help, man. Just hearing it, the power of the tongue and the imagery and seeing it. It does so much, like you said, all the stuff that they pumping out in front of them. Imagine if they saw something positive. Imagine they saw things about uh, their history, their people, and what it'd do if you reversed it instead of talking about some man, child 1-year-old shot in South Memphis. And then, like I shared this first clip about the truck, the UPS truck being robbed. What can I do as a citizen of Memphis, as a Memphian, about somebody doing breaking into a UPS truck? I mean, I just don't understand. What all that does is create what you said about fear. And they operate out of fear and clickbait and what you want to see. We're drawn to the negative. So, like I said, I want to just say that take control of what we're doing. This is one of the things that I feel like, because we need more melanated media.
One thing we was doing here, and I know a couple of people on the fire department still, and on the police department. And one of the things they had started doing, and I know why, is they wouldn't televise or wouldn't report certain things, because when you report it and other people hear it, then you got another person trying to outdo that person, and so you wouldn't report it. Well, we need to kind of do that same thing with these kinds of stories. It doesn't mean that we don't want to address the social ills or the criminal part of it. We just don't want to show it too often, because somebody else will do what they just saw.
Yes.
This is the question I like that. Did I promote them or give them the idea based on me showing the video, or did they have it before me? And the truth is, most of the people around here are not thinking, so I must have given them the thought. And we need to stop showing a lot of criminal things, because it could deter a lot. But who am I? I'm just one of the people that have served the community of Memphis and served it quite well in very many aspects. I can't get the word out, but ultimately, I enjoy serving. I think I'm a good servant. What I don't want to do is be abused. I don't want to do things for people who clearly ain't trying to get anything better. I'd rather you go on and come to your demise before you take me out, wearing me out. You know, I'll say this publicly. All of this shooting, and I worked on the ambulance too and stayed up long nights and tried to get these folks to the hospital. I personally think all of these shooting, and it may not make sense to the mayor or the director of fire, the director of police. I'm not asking for y'all permission. I don't care what y'all think, because y'all ain't solved shit.
Mm-hmm.
And until
you out there in the field too, Dave.
Because I was out there in the streets while y'all at home on the warm bed. I'm cold. But I think we personally should stop responding to all these shootings. And I tell you what, if two people get to shooting, and not no innocent, one of them shot. If we don't never come and rescue him with an ambulance, he got to go to ambulance, or he got to get somebody to patch him up, or she, you know what'll happen? They'll stop shooting each other and probably go back to bare knuckling, because they'll realize the ambulance and the police don't come to foolishness. They only come when people need help. And this ain't no emergency. This is foolishness. If we let people go to glory, it'll solve itself. But we keep healing folks, thinking we helping them, and they come right out and do the same thing, and just pretty much just look at us and say, y'all a damn fool. But if we let you die, you couldn't have killed that little girl across the street by shooting at the wrong person. But am I gonna hold myself accountable for? No, I ain't did nothing wrong. I saved him. No, if you'd have let everything took place, he would not have been able to shoot. The most brilliant mind we had, you done brought it back to shoot at somebody again, and then missed again and hit this baby. Now everybody need to be held accountable for that.
That's a great. I like that, because I want to see who would take up for the people. Like, they need help too. I want to see who would take up for the people that did that. If you like, look, they're not even coming for that, bro. If it's beefing and street violence like that, they're not coming to help.
Well, but again, it's going to happen. Unfortunately, beautiful people like you and me with this beautiful brown skin, they use us as the guinea pigs.
That's how I'm talking about the image. That's it.
all this, I don't know what make us think, all this old driving around in the circle in the middle of the street, all this old heinous crime, they're going to continue to let this go on. No, they're going to come in it with something. Now, do I know what it is? No, but I guarantee you, it's not going to continue the way you think.
It's like, is this being done so they can? Because we know you come across this so many, they're going to aim at the criminals, so to speak, but we know how many innocent people, melanated people are going to get caught up in the,
Well,
that.
you
Right?
all in a war. And so people say, what war? We not at war. That's a damn lie. You cannot have every major city. Let's just use 50 major cities in the United States of America.
Mhm.
And if you do the stats, and I have done the stats, I'm a statistician. I do numbers because the numbers is what the information. Every major city every year have a minimum of 200 murders.
Right.
So look, we do LA, Memphis, St. Louis, Detroit, Oakland. Then we do Long Beach. We do New Orleans. We do Atlanta. We do parts of South Carolina, North Carolina. Wait a minute, 50 times 200, man, that's quite a bit of people every single year. That is really it's a civil war. They won't call it that. I will call it that. You can't have this many people dying annually every year on schedule. And then they move the numbers around to make it seem like it went down, but it ain't gone no down.
They just fix it up. Right.
They're just moving the numbers.
Man, this is make sure everybody coming in. Make sure you hit the like. This is Memphis. It's very Memphis Over Bull. We have Memphis, one of the Memphis greatest minds right now talking. I just, man, I'm almost at the show. I kind of got everything that I wanted to touch on from you. But make sure you all, this is, man, y'all know I'm something. I have my info, but Dave Jones, man, Memphis Dave, full of information. This won't be the last time he comes on the show. This is our first guest of the year. And you setting the standard very high, sir. I want you to know that for information to bring.
First, let me thank you for allowing me to express my thoughts. I want to say something, and I told you this today. And again, there's two movies I like to always refer to for young people. One is Coach Carter, and the other one is Akilah and the Bee. And there's a whole lot of more information, but these two, I think, can get you to see something. There's some poems in these same poem in this Our Greatest Fear. And it starts like this. It just kind of hit the words and say it over and over and over. Because I try to get my grandkids to make it a part of their name. Because if you ever say this somewhere around people that are very prestigious or a poem, they're gonna love it if the kids say it. And the way it goes is, what is our greatest fear? And that's a question. And then it goes on to say, our greatest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. See, I don't go too fast. Wait a minute. I'm a part of we. You're a part of we, right?
Mm-hmm.
You mean me and you got some power and it's unlimited?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't never been told that. Enough. I've been told enough. And then to come back in the next line said, we ask ourselves, who am I to be talented, handsome, fabulous, and gorgeous? Wait a minute. I want to be talented. I want to be fabulous. I want to be handsome. I want to be gorgeous. Don't you? And then it said, and who are you not to be? You are a child of God. What I like, and I'm tired of this too, but there's some things that's saying that change is coming in the universe and in man. Child of God. Well, let's move. I'm gonna ask you to say something. It's gonna be interesting to see how you say this, but this is where it's going, whether you talk to me or nobody. Now I want you to say child of God.
Child of God.
Now I want you to remove child and say what the rest of that sentence again.
Of God.
That's what we're dealing with. We can stop talking about this child and this children shit, because ain't nobody children no more.
Mm-hmm.
How long are we gonna be children?
Mm-hmm.
When start being like our Father said we were supposed to be in his image. But now when I say that, some people say, well, you can't do that. And I say to those people, you don't tell me what I can't be. Just be what you can be. Because I can be what my Father said be. I can read for myself, for one. And my interpretation of what he said is most definitely not what yours is. And I'm okay with you being you. And you're going to have to be okay with me being me because I don't know nobody else to be. What do you want me to do? This is it.
Try to be grounded in his image. Time to grow up.
That's the problem. 40 is the new what? What is 40 the new what?
40 the same old 40, but they say it's a new 30.
And what's 30 then?
30 must be 20.
And
Don't
what's
tell 20 is the new 10.
and that's what we got going on. We got them 20-year-olds, 10 years old mentally.
Yeah. I tell you, that's a big gap. That's a big learning curve, man, right there, bro.
60-year-olds, they want 30. This is you keep altering things that don't need altering. Nature.
Right.
I didn't tell you this, but I throw this in there because again, I don't want you to go too fast. My mentor always tell me, take your time. Take your time. Take your time. And so if you were to go home and then the beautiful young lady you're with, and you and her conceived a child, and she's due, like, it's kind of funny, and they wake up in the morning, but it may be weeks, I'm pregnant. You've heard that before. I'm assuming we'll hear it. And then you tell her, okay, well, you just automatically know it's going to be how long for your baby. But what's this? What if it get here in 2 or 5 or 7? What is it?
Premature.
Do you want your child to be premature?
No.
Why not?
We want them to be as healthy as it can be and ready for the world when it comes.
Well, you done said something there, not more, but you know how we the old folks.
Come on now, you know I know this.
We around here trying to be something and we're premature. We ain't letting the course of growth take its place. And if we rush this thing, it can only be premature. And once it
premature people.
Huh?
A lot of premature people, individuals.
Man, I listen. What was I looking at? I was looking at something the other day, and this young lady had some hair down to the ground. It was multiple colors.
Give me one second. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to plug this laptop up. Give me 1 second.
Do what you need to do.
Yeah, pause. Pause that story.
Okay. All right. I'm right here. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, great. So I hope that I've enlightened you somewhat, and what I've said has helped you reach the goal that you're trying to obtain.
Very much so. And I want you and give those before we get out because we got like a few minutes left. I want to give those movies you said because when you come back, because you know I'm gonna bring you back. You won't be. This is gonna be something I bring you back off because you got so much to share. I want you, But what are those? And then we're gonna actually tell you what I saw next time you come, and then the chat mob. They're quiet right now, but they listening to you. They watch the show. They'll tell you what they saw too.
Okay, I love to hear what their response are. One of my favorite movies was The Green Mile, and I a little bit. Here it is again, an excellent movie. Michael Duncan Clark, I believe is his name, was the main character. John Coffey, and he's not with us anymore. He has since transitioned and ascended and passed on. But he played a character in this country that's it's always a big black man, almost like we the boogeyman, but it's a big black man, and supposedly he had broken the law, and They took him to jail and he was going to, be electrocuted. So they put him on what is called a mile, but theirs was a green mile. Well, in the process of that, he meets Tom Hanks' character, which I can't remember the title of the character's name, but Tom Hanks has some physical ailments and he literally healed him. Then Tom Hanks realized if he can heal me, he ultimately ended up healing the what's the person over the jail? The correctional
Warden.
the warden of Williams Warden. He ended up healing his wife as well, healing a mouse. Well, this looks like a movie. This looked like some Amos and Andy or some Mickey Mouse stuff. Let's say it is. But here you got a big black man doing it, doing the healing. A big black man that everybody afraid of, everybody misunderstand. You know who that big black man is? Me. I've always been misunderstood. They say I'm crazy. I've yet to hear anybody say, you know what, that sit with me. Very few people sit and talk to me. The ones who sit and talk to me, over time, they start to see it a little different. But the ones, they just hear the introduction and they'll say he crazy. But nobody yet has said like a fox. See, there used to be a saying, like a fox. I can't tell, man, he different. But I'm only different because where I come from in the time period, there was a lot of men around me and women. I don't want to ever disregard the females, but those men knew what they were building me to do. They were building me to replace them. And they wasn't playing. And if they did it right, they knew I ain't got to worry about him. He right. And they knew he was going to build some more. Matter of fact, we're going to build him and ask him to go get 12 of his closest friends. And he going to teach them what we taught. And then he going to ask his friends to go get 12. Wait a minute. Are we talking about Jesus?
God is in him.
Jesus.
Right.
Disciples, and then getting those 12 disciples go get 12. And that's 144. And if we ultimately keep doing that, everybody going to have knowledge of self.
That goes at 100.
I want to lock this down. And then when you hear what Jesus said on the cross, because he could have stopped the so-called Jews or the so-called Romans from his demise if he had the power that we know he had. He knew the only way that we, his brothers and sisters, was going to ever understand the power he was talking about, he had to die. Not for us, but he had to die for us to learn. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You're killing me. You ain't killing me. You can't kill nobody. You can't create nobody. So what kind of power you?
Exactly.
If
you don't have the power of life.
But as we grow, we will ultimately understand what it was he was saying on this cross. That we all will have to forgive our brothers because they just don't know who they are yet. And when they do, wow, what mountains we can't move, what problems we can't fix. What are we talking about here? This is an easy fix, but you look over there and you don't see yourself.
That's the problem.
Up in that person. You got to, and you need to find out a little bit about them. If they ain't had no upbringing, no parent, no food, they hungry, they're gonna probably take your food if they see if you don't offer it to them. Are they wrong? Well, according to the way we live, yeah. But if a man is hungry, he ain't a while. You better be careful about putting food in front of him. Because he just raised by your grandmama. And he take your food and bust your head and you want, well, he hurt. We got to be careful about where our brothers and sisters are coming from. We are one. This goes back. We are one race of people. Forget this skin color, forget all this old language barriers, forget all. We only one race. And we don't get this soul, we won't be no race. Nothing, won't be no arguments, no racism, nothing being talked about.
Right. Right. I mean, that's true. That's the fact. That is the truth of it. And I always say that it's not even about some people think that I'm only here because of melanated people, because that's what we identify as and identify with. But it's really just the fix of what's right. I mean, what's wrong and what needs fixing. as a people.
Mhm.
This is about, this is where we're from. You know what I'm saying? This is what we are and where we're from, so we're gonna fix that. But it's only the right thing to do. Not really just about, I'm just all about mine. I don't care about nothing. No, we're doing the right thing for us, people.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people get lost in that, worried about who's getting the help. Those who need it.
Yeah.
That's all it should be. That should be the only thing that's of concern about. As long as the people that need help get it, and those people look like you and I. With that, like you said, that beautiful melanated skin and
Yeah.
all of that, beautiful people. Very,
Yes.
very beautiful people.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So yeah, bro, I appreciate you, man. We went over. This is how long. I wish I could go over. The people chat mob came in. We got more people in at the end than we had at the beginning because you came on with the great information and great energy. This is Memphis Dave. I want you all to look there. Anytime you see his name, you know to click it. You know you're gonna get some information. You know, anytime he's on the show, you might just look for him, support this brother. Library of information that we need to take advantage of, and make sure that as many people can hear from and hear his story as possible. Right? I'll make sure anytime that you need a platform, you got anything going on, you got my number. I'd love to have you back, and I'm gonna have you back on the show.
Well,
Right?
I thank you. And I didn't say Happy New Year. And hey, man, anything I can do for you, definitely let's stay in touch. Because again, I know you're the future. And if you got your 12, which I already know you got your 12, y'all getting ready to do some moving mountains.
Right. You better
And
know.
it's gonna be all right. We're gonna be good. Ain't nothing gonna get bad. Memphis is the greatest city we ever had on the planet.
Right.
We got the greatest basketball player, Ja Morant, and the greatest team, the Grizzlies. And we got our own shining penny, Memphis Tigers. We are what's going on. Everybody wants to be with us. We got the best barbecue, the best food, the best women,
Best women, best people, everything.
everything they want. We just tell these people it's Memphis, baby.
Love.
It's
That's what we about. Memphis Over Bull. All right, man. All right, so that's Memphis Day, y'all. We're gonna let everybody go next Wednesday. Appreciate you, man. We're gonna be back 6 p.m. live. About to end the show on that note. Love y'all. Appreciate everybody coming through. Make sure you rewatch this show. He has some information for you. Watch it again, write it down, read those movies. Cause he'll be back. And we want to hear from the chat mob. Look at them all coming in now. We love y'all. Love my people. Memphis Over Bull. See y'all next week, 6 p.m.
Thank you for the deuces. I like to throw them deuces.
All right.
Take care, brother.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.